Hello, Bucs fans. Welcome back to Real Bucs Talk. In today's video, we're going to talk about the pass rush and how critical that is for the Buccaneers this offseason, and it has to be improved. As you guys saw on Super Bowl Sunday, pass rush was evident. It was so vital for the Eagles as they were able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes and cause chaos for him throughout the game. And they only rushed four throughout the entire game. And I think that's the very important factor to look at. I think a lot of teams are going to look at their defenses this offseason to find ways to get more pass rush consistently. Now, some guys have elite pass rushers that they can lean on. The Eagles, I think they do a great job of rushing as a unit. They have some really good, talented guys back there. Obviously, with Josh Sweat, you have Jalen Carter, who's a beast, and Jordan Davis, and then along with their speed rushers like Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt, really good players. So there's a lot to look at from that game and see what they were able to do, but they send zero blitz, and I thought that was really impressive. And that points to my tweet right here, as you guys see on the screen. Pass rush that can win with four is so vital in today's NFL. Bucks need that for next season. Be aggressive this offseason. Yeah, it's so huge. And yeah, I have a gif up there of Miles Garrett. And a lot of people have seen our latest video, or one of our recent videos about trading for Miles Garrett and why it makes so much sense for the Bucks. And I think it would be an awesome move. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it, and it would be very expensive to acquire. So that's why a lot of fans push back and would rather go the free agency route or trade for maybe a Trey Hendrickson, or look at other options. But there is hope for if you want to invest in the draft, and I think that's the Bucks. Usually, that's their motto of how they built this team. When you look at the Bucks roster, it's very draft oriented. A lot of the guys that play have been drafted by the franchise. They haven't really dipped into free agency too much, but maybe that changes this offseason. So you look at Daniel Jeremiah's tweet. He said the game was absolutely dominated by Eagles front four. Good news for the rest of the league. This draft is loaded with defensive linemen. Good draft to double up at the position. And yeah, I agree there. I think defensive line is very strong in this class. The edge group is really good and deep into, you know, day two for sure. You can find some guys. So there's a lot of options for the Buccaneers this offseason, which is great. And hopefully they can build something like this where you have two really good interior defensive tackles. You got Milton Williams, who's a free agent. You got Nolan Smith, who's been coming around and playing really good. Jalix Hunt, who I talked about, really came on at the end of the season. And then Josh Sweat is going to be a free agent. And they also acquired Bryce Huff, but didn't really see much of him this year. But when you look at Josh Sweat, I mean, that would be a logical target for the Buccaneers to go after. Um, we'll see if he becomes available. And that is something that I think the Buccaneers need to start doing this offseason. And, you can draft so far, but I mean, you can draft well and build your team that way. But at some point, you have to supplement the roster with external players or external options. And that's why we talked about, potentially making a trade for Miles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson. Got to find some guys that can come in and help this Buccaneers group. When you look at Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, Logan Hall, Yaya Diaby, you hope Chris Braswell can continue to improve and get better, but they got to add some guys up on that front and especially help the front four. So if they can get pressure with front four, then you can maximize your coverage and have your linebackers and secondary play more coverage, and that can help out, maybe a weaker unit, let's say for linebacker or even at corner, that can help you out and do some different things defensively. And then when you do blitz, it kind of comes more at a surprise and you can complement your defense that much better. But with that, I mean, let's just look at and again, you see on the screen just how the Eagles were able to disrupt the pocket. Again, they were able to collapse on the outside and force Patrick Mahomes to step up. And then again, ability to get sacks and cause turnovers, get in his face, get him off his spot. That was important. And yes, it would be awesome to add someone like this, like Miles Garrett, but the cost is going to be the big factor and big holdup. Bottom line, though, when looking at this offseason coming up, and now every team is starting their offseason with a Super Bowl ending, the Buccaneers, I think we can all agree they have to add to the pass rush. They got to find some pass rushers in there, whether it's at defensive line or at edge. I think they should look and try to find both, but they have to upgrade the depth at defensive line. They have to find some edge players to complement Yaya Diaby and Chris Braswell. And then hopefully they can also look at secondary and add some more corner depth and build around Antoine, Zion, and Tyke Smith. But it starts up front. And I think what the Buccaneers have been able to do for their offensive line, now it's the time to continue to invest in the defensive line and get the defensive line up to the standard that the offensive line is playing at, which is a top 5 level. Let's see if the Buccaneers can make that happen. It's going to not be easy because, again, usually good pass rushers don't become available in free agency. We'll have to see if that remains the case this offseason or if you can find a way to acquire one via trade, or you go into the draft and you draft heavily at defensive line and the edge group as well. So that remains to be seen, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit the like button, comment down below your thoughts of why, pass rush is so vital this offseason for the Buccaneers. I think a lot of people would agree with that, but comment down below your thoughts, what you guys think. What should the Buccaneers try to do this offseason to improve this defense? And who knows, maybe that could lead to maybe a Super Bowl appearance, because we can see if you can affect the quarterback, obviously that's going to help your team overall. So, with that said, until the next one.